The mission of our church is very simple, leading people to know Christ and to make Him known. Thank you for being interested in being a part of our hospitality ministry. Before you view this video, please take a moment and download the PDF file with the notes so you can follow along. I will read down from number 1, starting with number 1 and on down, and make a few comments to help you know how to perform your task as an usher here at Calvary. There are a lot of messages that a first-time guest will receive. Many of them begin before the preacher ever stands up, and that has to do with you as an usher making people feel welcomed as they enter into the auditorium, helping to assist them in any matter pertaining to the church service. Thank you. Beginning with number 1. This is a ministry. This is what you do for Christ. This is not just an obligation on Sundays. You are very vital. You are important. You're needed. Thank you. Number 2. Show up early and dress appropriately. When we say show up early, we ask that you would be here 15 minutes before the service begins. So therefore, if you have to leave a small group early so you can find your post, please do that. Also, as far as dressing, just dress nicely, that people would feel comfortable approaching you as an usher. Number 3, smile, talk to people, let them know your name. And we know that you can't have a lengthy conversation, but when you see a first-time guest, make them feel at home, make them feel welcome. They're an honored guest on any given Sunday. And if you've never visited a new place, you can be on pins and needles. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know, where the bathroom, restrooms are, all of those things. So be sure that you make yourself available to our first-time guests. Number 4, offer to take first-time guests or visitors personally. If you need to take them to the nursery, to children's church, kids powerhouse, be sure that you're willing to do that on their behalf. Help them. They don't know where to go. They don't know that we have a nursery. They don't know that we have children's church. They don't know that we have kids powerhouse. We would encourage you to find someone to either man your post or find a designated person to help assist on any given Sunday to know where those areas are. That someone could take them personally. Number 5, when seating people with special needs, and that happens from time to time, maybe in a wheelchair, you can pull up a chair and take that chair and take it to the back of the room and then allow them to have a place to sit with their family and their friends. Number 6, make sure that you're checking the aisles to know what seats are available. It would be wonderful if all of our regular attenders would sit to the front, and then maybe perhaps as guests come in later in the service, they could comfortably sit back toward the back. But that's in a perfect church, and we're not a perfect church. But you'll have to look around and find them places to seat. It is never inappropriate to ask someone on an aisle perhaps to slide forward to allow our guests to not have to step over people as they enter in to find a good seat. Number 7, make sure you are approaching people to assist them in finding a seat. In other words, when you see people come in, don't assume they know where they're going to be seated after the service has started. Take a moment and look down the aisles and find, the appropriate number of seats that they need. Take them, lead them forward to find out, where they need to sit. Guide them. Remember, they're our guests, and we want to give preference to them to find the best seats in the house. So, number 8, make sure offering plates are in place before the service begins. Each team, as a Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, and even we have a 5th Sunday team. It is your responsibility. Sometimes the offering plates get misplaced. Take your job as a hospitality minister to make sure that everything is ready on any given Sunday to be able to do your job. And so make sure the offering plates are there. If they're not there, go back to the sound booth and ask the people in the sound booth, maybe they've been placed in there. Number 9, when the invitation is over and pastor says amen, please quickly and slip out of your seat and slide up on the front row there and be ready to take up the offering plates. Number 10, offering time is a time of worship and should be done in a reverent manner. Number 11, when prayer is complete, begin to pass the offering plates. The offering is a personal and a private matter. One thing that we want to do is we don't want to be looking down the aisles at what people give. This is not a time to have a conversation with someone. Also, be sure that you don't step over or hand the plate over somebody. At the end of your row, whoever is at the end of the row, hand the plate to them. Let them pass the plate down to the next person in the aisle in which they are seated. When the number 12, this one is funny. Do not make change from the offering or take anything out of the offering plate. We would never want someone to maybe misunderstand something that has gone on. Don't ever do that. We would never want anyone to feel uncomfortable with the way that we handle their offering unto the Lord. So be sure to do that. We're not going to be looking at what people give or not give. We're passing the plate and we're stepping backwards when we're doing that. And it's not a race, one side versus the other. So wait on each other that it looks very uniform as you're stepping back to take up the offering. Number 13, giving is confidential, and I've already mentioned that we want to avoid observing what someone gives. Number 14, the usher coordinator or head usher the head usher will collect the plates at the rear of the church. And he will not take the offering by himself, but he will find someone else who is appointed to help them take the offering to be counted. And then number 15, at the close of the service, please assist with exiting of the auditorium, okay? And so your job's not done. In fact, please be the first ones to find your way to the back doors and open the door to allow the crowds to leave. If someone maybe perhaps even was a first-time guest and things have not gone the way that, that made them feel comfortable, maybe as they leave, we can be sure to greet them and acknowledge them again. That might make them feel, much more comfortable about the service. And also, if there's ever an emergency in the service, what you will need to do is you will need to go back to the sound booth and you will let them know that there's an emergency. They will assist in that, and if it's necessary to call 911, they will call 911. Remember also that we have cameras that are in our foyer area, our hallway area, and the breezeway in the back building. They monitor those, and if at any time, they need assistance, they're going to look to our ushers first to help in anything that's, going on. If you ever have someone who is constantly, maybe a child, getting up, it would be the usher that would get up and ask them to be seated, or find their parents. If there's someone disrupting the service, the ushers would be the ones who would go to that person, and you don't want to cause a scene in the service, but you would say, hey, would you mind stepping out and we'll talk about it and see how we can help you with this situation. So ushers, you are very, very important to us. Once again, thank you on the behalf of our congregation. Thank you for being willing to serve in the hospitality ministry.